Should Christians celebrate Halloween? Seems that the Christian Church of the West has incorporated Halloween in part of its ritualistic festivals and celebrations. However, we should get to the origins of Halloween and see whether we as Christians, follower of the Word of God, of light, should follow it. And in short answer, the answer is no. Now, to give Halloween its credit, it's a combination of several pagan holidays with one not really considered a pagan Halloween that kind of intertwined with each other and then became to the Halloween what it is today. So many ancient Greek, many very ancient, Mesopotamian festivals of celebration of the dead, celebration of creatures of the night was a corroborance of people coming together, doing ritual-like things of dressing up and celebrating stuff like this. However, it wasn't called Halloween. It was called different names. The word Halloween actually came from the medieval period, but from the Christian church. And it's not what it means today. Greatly not so. It was called Hallowtide. Hallowtide was a festival to celebrate all the saints and martyrs who had given their life for the faith. Whether they've done it through martyrship, of course, whether they did it by providing for the poor, feeding the poor, helping the sick. So what they would do, and this was kind of incorporated to the idea of going to a house and trick-or-treating, well, the original sense is that they would wear robes or clothing of what famous saints had done or who they were in the past as an honor, or trying to do the things that they were doing by going to rich people's homes and asking for food or for money. And the rich, or the custom is that the wealthy owners would give them gifts pertaining to that, food and wealth or some type of health. And with those donations, it would help the poor. So the poor were the ones asking for these when they would go to door, by knocking on each door. Now you may say, well, that doesn't sound bad. See, Halloween sounds good. Well, this is called Hallowtide and is separate from Halloween. Halloween, however, is demonic because it's the corruption of Hallowtide, and the corruption came from other pagan ideas. Another thing too is that Halloween promotes darkness. And the idea of darkness is something that encapsulates us. It makes us feel individually alone, that no one's around us to help us in our situations. The other thing with Halloween is that, with darkness, is that darkness brings no life. It brings no growth. It brings no satisfaction. John chapter 1 verse 5 says that God is the light of the world, and the darkness cannot comprehend it. Light helps us see our brother and sisters. Light helps promote growth. Light shows us a way out of hell. Light shows us how to have the fire of flame living inside of us. Light is truth. Light is help. But darkness is not truth. Darkness is confusion. Darkness is despair. Darkness is sadness. Now, as Christians, you may say, well, hey, it's not such a bad thing. I see my pastors, I see other churches celebrating it. I see them going about it. It's harmless. We're not celebrating the darkness. We're just, or demonic. We just like to dress up, have costumes, and go out for candy picking and all that other stuff. However, it's the means of it. It's the idea behind it. It doesn't matter whether you try to devalue or deconstruct Halloween in that way. The fact that you have to justify it tells you that it's already wrong. Anything you have to justify before God, you already know the answer is wrong. It's a no. 1 John chapter 2 verse 16 says, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him." How can we as Christians go around celebrating this type of holiday that promotes darkness, evil, and depression, and on the following day say that we're the light of the world, we love God, we are the salt of the earth, and we're here to proclaim good? You cannot do two things. It doesn't matter if you're 90% of the time doing God's thing and 10% of the time doing the Halloween thing, or 1% doing the Halloween and 99% of the God thing. You can't compromise. You can't compromise the word of God at all. You have to deter from evil, and this is evil itself. It's hard to understand that it's fun to be with the climax of fear or that adrenaline rush, right? But there's other ways for the adrenaline rush. There's other ways to get that, that experience, but with other than glorifying darkness. And the issue of this is that it's not promoting the glory of God. It's not doing something that's ushering people to salvation. Instead, it's promoting fear. Instead, it's promoting evil. It's giving evil the idea that it's powerful, that it's strong. Ooh, watch out. It could come at you. It could harm you. It's something that's being ritualized and worshipped, just as the pagans did back in the ancient times, during the medieval period, to the modern period, to the contemporary period, and now. It's so closely related. Like, there's people who dress up as demons, there's people who dress up as spirits, there's people who dress up as serial killers. These people murdered people. These people raped people. These people promoted demonic things. That all they want, they want us to be reveled in pain and suffering for all of eternity. None of that is edifying and glorying God. And that is why it's so important not to celebrate these things together with other people, with the world. We as Christians are supposed to stand by against it. We're supposed to say, not in my house. In my house we will serve the Lord. Now, if you were doing let's say it was another day, it was in Halloween, whatever, and people were passing out candy without saying trick or treat, and they were just going up dressed in costumes that are, not demonic or promote darkness, but were, like Marvel, Disney, and all that stuff. That's fine. That's fine. But when it's aligned with something that's been corrupted with the darkness, demonic, and all that, it corrupts the whole thing. You can't have a bag full of Skittles, right? And there's 80 good Skittles in that bag, but there's 4 poisonous things in there. Would you risk eating that bag of Skittles knowing that there's 4 poisonous things in there? You want something that's wholly good, wholly fruitful, wholly revealing. You do not want to eat something that has the potential or is the potential for harm. So for Christians, no, we shouldn't celebrate Halloween. I understand that it came from a Christian idea of Hallowtide. And Hallowtide, I believe, that's more reasonable to celebrate than Halloween. But no one celebrates Hallowtide anymore. I think rarely even Catholics celebrate Hallowtide as well. And what happened is that it's been corrupted by pagan, Western, world, darkness, ungodly ways to become what it is today. And every year Halloween comes, it gets darker and darker and darker. Where celebrities, where influencers dress up more into the demonic, get more involved in sin, get more involved into the lust of it, because now there's attraction to demonic stuff intimately, and it does not promote the glory of God, and instead it mocks God. It makes fun of God. It's like darkness is trying to say, oh, we rule the night so that we rule the night so that we don't have to rule with you, Lord. So that is why we as Christians should not celebrate Halloween.